Welcome back to Access Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough and review of Ixion Saga Dimension Transfer Episode 21. Now, if you remember from last episode, we actually find out the marriage ceremony is not what it appears to be. Yeah, the last part of the ritual about Elvidia was only Elvidia in name. It had nothing to do with the actual Elvidia, so Kon is kind of pissed off, or at least a little depressed, because he was doing all these rituals just so he could find out more about Elvidia, and it's a no-go. However, we are taken to a different scene with Icarlet, and she's getting ready to consummate her new relationship with Jungleberk, who again, it was a fucked up scene in my opinion, because we see Jungleberk, he's acting like a goddamn pedophile, and I'm like, oh my god, he's got puppets, he's got stuffed animals, and he actually dresses up Icarlet in this really fucked up outfit, and I just could not bear it. I'm like, seriously, I took this guy for granted as being a normal person, like just a one of those beauty guys, those guys that look really great in a series but really don't do shit. He is a pedophile. Serious face, he's a pedophile. Now we are taken to a different scene with Icarlet, and she actually notices Jungleberk has a nose hair, and automatically Icarlet loses it, beats the crap out of Jungleberk, and her cowlicks return, and I thought it was hilarious. Now Kon does jump in, and he wants to know what's wrong, and apparently the guards notice, apparently Jungleberk has been taken out, and they think he's been assassinated, even though Jungleberk has not been assassinated. They blame Kon, Icarlet, and everyone else. Now eventually we see Sanglion and Mirandel appear. They actually grab Icarlet and Kon, and they get the hell out of Dodge. Now they're being chased by the guards. It's all fucked up. Now, eventually, Kon does run into, Dukakis in general, and Dukakis is like, okay, what the hell's going on? And Kon basically says, it's all up to you, buddy, and then he runs away. And then the guards noticed Dukakis was, talking to Kon and everyone else before Kon left. So now the guards, Jungleberk's guards, are now attacking Dukakis, and I thought it was hilarious. And again, that's where the episode ends, and I'll have my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with new characters. Now, we don't know their names, but they're called Olbreons. Now, Olbreon, they're spies in general. We see one spy, then we see two spies. Apparently, they're working for the Olga sorority, like Dukakis was. And apparently, they're actually charged with deliberately destroying Icarlet and Jungleberk, their relationship. And I thought, okay, well, it's working because, you know what? They're no longer together. Apparently, the alliance between Jungleberk and Icarlet has been severed. The alliance is a no-go. Jungleberk has now declared war on the Empire. Well, okay, I can see that working for the Olga sorority. However, who are these spies? I mean, we really don't know jack about them, so we are thrown with a little bit of information about these spies, which are called Elbreons. Apparently, they're man-made Hyperions. I'll say this one more time. They're man-made Hyperions. So they're kind of like Kon, except they were man-made. And again, they're called Olbreons. And at the first time we see them, we see 3 units. I know, it's weird. We see 3 of them, and that's it. Then we see 4 of them. I'm like, okay, so there's a 4th one that appears out of nowhere in the Olga sorority, and he basically tells everyone, yeah, a rat has snuck in. And again, that's where the episode opens up with. Moving on past that, we are taken to a different scene with Verasian. Now, if you don't remember correctly, Verasian, in one of the past episodes, actually left Dukakis and said he was going to check out the Olga sorority to see what they were actually up to. So now we get to see what he was up to. So Verasian is in the Olga sorority. And apparently he is the rat that snuck in, so that's why the Olbreons were able to notice him, because, he does stick out, kind of. So the Olbreons are getting ready to attack Verasian. However, Verasian is teleported elsewhere. I was like, he can't do that. That's not part of his powers. So what the hell is going on? So we are taken to a different scene with Dukakis. Now, Dukakis and his men are now trapped in a tree like cats. And I thought it was definitely worth mentioning and hilarious because we do see the guards, Jungleberk's guards, getting closer. And out of nowhere, they're also teleported, just like Verasian. So Verasian was teleported, Dukakis and his subordinates, they've been teleported. Where the fuck were they teleported to? We still don't know, and it's pissing me off. So we are taken to a different scene with Pet. Now, Pet is actually communicating with Elma Flora with his little device. I thought that was definitely worth mentioning. However, he's telling Kon and everyone else that don't be surprised, something's about to happen. I'm like, well, of course they're going to be surprised because something's going to happen. I mean, if someone said, look, something's going to happen in the next few minutes, don't freak out, I'm going to freak out because I don't know what the hell's coming. But anyway, sorry, I digress. We do see Kon and everyone else, they get teleported like Verasian and Dukakis as well as his men. So again, They're taken to an unknown location, which I thought was hilarious. However, we are taken to a different scene with Cone, and Cone is actually back at his house in front of his computer. I was like, huh? So he gets teleported back home, and then Elma Flora appears on his computer. I'm like, okay, this just got interesting. And basically, Elma Flora is on his computer, and she's actually asking Cone to lend her his powers. I'm like, okay, this sounds familiar. However, Elma Flora promises to reward Cone for helping her. I'm like, okay, there's a catch. There's always a catch when a beautiful woman says something like that. However, we are taken to a different scene with Cone, and he wakes up. He was basically dreaming all this. So this stuff actually happened in the anime series. This is at the start. He's just like reliving it, I guess. So he does wake up, and Elma Flora appears right in front of Cone. I'm like, perfect. The bitch that put you in this world, she's right there. It's go time. Let's go. So we're taken to a different scene. Now, apparently, she actually wants Cone to save the world, or at least this world. I'm like, well, you've got a fucked up way in showing it. I mean, there's no thank you. There's no, please save us. It's, I'm just going to steal you from your house, and we're going to put you in the middle of this big shit, and hope you do something right without explaining to you the rules, ramifications, and all that crap. More power to you, man. I thought it was definitely fucked up, and well worth mentioning. Just had to put that out there. Now, apparently I should also point out that everyone else is in the capital. That's right. You heard me right. They're in the capital. This is like the former capital or something like that. I don't know if it's in the Empire or in Jungleburg, but apparently everyone was actually teleported to, you know, the capital, which is like the old ruins, I guess. So we are finally taken to a different scene with Cone and Elma Flora, and this is probably my favorite scene, and it's not why I'm saying this, it's my favorite scene. I'm saying logically this is my favorite scene because we finally get to hear Cone ask the right questions. So we open up the scene with Cone and Elma Flora, and he actually asks Elma Flora, what the hell is going on? What is this about? Why did you like take me out of my world and put me here in this hellhole? I'm like, thank you, the right questions to the right bitch that sent you here. And Cone basically sticks around, and instead of going home, because he actually was offered to go home. So Elma Flora, after explaining everything to an extent, because she introduces herself as the mysterious woman and not as Elma Flora, she basically says, well, Cone, if you want to go home, there's the teleport, just go over there, go to the magic circle. And he starts to go to the magic circle, and then he pauses. He's like, wait, no, I've come this far, I want to stick around. You know, I'm not going to let Icarlet stay here by herself, you know. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're growing. I see what you're going. I see what you're getting at. You want something. Cone, you're learning. Now, of course, we are taken to a different scene with Dukakis, Icarlet, and everyone else. And again, they're starting to wake up. And they're actually finally with Elma Flora. They gradually like get to the same location, and they're with Elma Flora. And she basically tells everyone about the Ixion. Because, I mean, everyone wants to know what the fuck is Ixion from her perspective, and I thought that was definitely worth mentioning. Now, she also points out a man is actually screwing up everything in this world. There's a man behind everything. He actually is trying to recreate Ixion technology, and apparently he's also instigating the war that's about to happen. And apparently it's the Archbishop, or at least she starts to talk about the Archbishop, so there is a little light information about who this man actually is. Apparently the guy that actually wants to recreate the Ixion technology is the Archbishop. And I'm like, okay, so he's of the Olga sorority, so that's the Archbishop of the Olga sorority, and he's actually pulling all the strings. I don't know if someone else is controlling him, but at least that's the information we were actually given. Now, we are taken to a different scene with Elma Flora, and yeah, she's got something to say. Apparently, Elma Flora turns them all into Hyperions. I was like, no, 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 no. This is like fucking... Oh, I can't say it. I really can't say it. Yeah, it's like Gundam. It's like, if you're a Gundam fan, you notice everyone has a Gundam. But when you watch Gundam AGE, you notice no one has a Gundam except for one freaking faction. And once everyone has the same thing, like once everyone has a gun or everyone has a Gundam, it's no longer interesting. You see where I'm going with this? Okay, so Elma Flora basically tells everyone, I'm going to make you into Hyperion, and then poof, it happens. And she gives everyone weapons. She's like, yeah, I've got some leftover weapons that are in this ruin somewhere. Help yourselves to them so you guys can have Elma gear. But I'm like, did you seriously just give everyone powers like Cone and Dukakis? Now everyone's a freaking Hyperion, Icarlet, Dukakis' subordinates, Gustav. I'm like, what the fuck? So we are taken to a different scene with, I guess, the Elma gear. Because, again, Elma Flora points out there's some Elma gear in this building. Help yourself to it now that you guys are all Hyperion. So we're taken to a different scene with the Elma gear. And apparently the weapons are in these little capsules, kind of like Pokeballs. And they're in a machine. It looks like a gumball machine. And it's very fucking funny. Everyone tries to attack the gumball machine. Apparently they've never seen one before in this world. So we're taken to a different scene with Dukakis, and he's still zoned out about what Elma Flora actually told him, that he wasn't special. She chose him at random to become a Hyperion. And Kona was just like laughing the whole time. It's like, ha ha ha. And then Dukakis was like, you chose me randomly. It wasn't because I had great expectations, I had a great background. You just chose me randomly. But you chose Cone for a specific reason. And it's just building up inside of Dukakis, and he's going to explode, but he's like totally zonked out. Definitely worth mentioning. However, we are taking two different things with the Elma gear in general, and it's still, no one's been able to crack it. I definitely thought that was worth mentioning. I mean, all you have to do is put a fucking coin inside, twist it, and they come out. Or you can crack the glass, and yet no one has been able to destroy it. We see, Sanglion, Mirandol, they're all powering up, trying to beat the crap out of the machine, but nothing. But, okay, E-Carlet, we are taking to a different scene with E-Carlet, and she goes apeshit on the machine. I was like, fucking laughing out loud. I was like, she doesn't just use one cowlick, she doesn't just use two cowlick, she uses 3 cowlicks with her new Hyperion power to try to get into this machine, and it doesn't do shit. And she's going apeshit all over it. I thought it was hilarious. And then Cone, snickering in the background, says, why don't you put some money inside of it? I'm like, it's that easy. Now, of course, Dukakis and his men are all broke, so they can't get any weapons, so they don't have any Elma gear. And you just see Cone and everyone else putting their money inside of the machine and getting all these useless Elma gear, like pulling out random gear, like, nope, crap, nope, crap, crap. So I thought it was kind of funny, and eventually now everyone has a weapon. E-Carlet, Mirandol, they all have their own weapon now. Of course, Cone has his own weapon. He didn't have to get a new one because remember, he stole it off of Dukakis, so he has his own weapon. Now they're about to leave, and they let all the weapons pile up like in the corner, and Dukakis' men are like, are you guys going to take any of this crap? And they don't really answer, because we do see, Cone and everyone else leave the room with their new weapons, and Dukakis' men just help themselves to whatever was left over. I'm like, okay. So we are taken to a different scene now. Apparently everyone has now been teleported out, and Veracian is actually about to tell, well, I thought it was kind of worth mentioning, although it's kind of useless at the same time. Veracian, before they're about to teleport out to complete what Elma Flora wanted them to do, to take out this Archbishop and to prevent the war from actually happening, Veracian actually was about to tell Dukakis and everyone else about the Elbryons, about the new man-made Hyperions, that, the Elga sorority has their own Hyperions, but he doesn't really get to tell them. So I definitely thought that was worth mentioning. Now, I should also point out, and this is a big thing I had to point out, Cone actually asked Elma Flora about Elvidia. And, yeah, she basically says, it's sealed. You can't get to it. It's sealed. I'm like, oh, that was a big help, you freaking bitch. Holy crap. We wait so many episodes to finally fucking see you, and you say, yeah, it's sealed. That doesn't solve anything. It really doesn't. And then everyone is actually teleported back. But before Cone is teleported back, he wants a reward from Elma Flora. If I live throughout this and I help you take the world, save the world, I want a reward. And he's like, I want to become a man. But Sanglion jumps right in. He's like, oh, I'll help you become a man. Like, we'll get you all strong. We'll defeat all these guys. I'm like, that's not really what he meant. He wants to get laid by Elma Flora. I thought it was definitely worth mentioning, and like, he just couldn't get it out there. But Elma Flora did promise she'd actually reward Cone with something of his choosing, but we still really don't know what that is from her perspective. But we know from Cone's perspective, he just wants to get laid, plain and simple. And definitely worth mentioning. But again, that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, okay, first of all, Elma Flora, I want to know more about your goddamn fucking background. Plain and simple, are you from Elvidia? And why the hell aren't you really helping Cone about what these questions he has? Tell him about Elvidia. Okay, so it's sealed. Why is it sealed? Who sealed it? And why are you referring to yourself as the mysterious woman instead of telling everyone you're called Elma Flora as your nickname? I mean, technically Dukakis knows that it's your nickname because you pointed that out. But mysterious woman? Can we just call you hey bitch? I mean, right now you're the bitch of the episode. You're really stalking everyone. I definitely thought I had to say that. Get that off my chest, you know? Moving on past that, okay, the Archbishop from the Olga sorority, what's going to be your next move now that, you know, the war has broken out between Jungle Burke and E-Carlet, or should I say Jungle Burke and the Empire? What's the next move? We really don't know, but that ends it for my final thoughts. As for my rating, 3.5 out of 5. There wasn't any drama or romance technically, but moving on past that, was there fighting? Kind of, no. Plain simple, no. This episode, which is based around information, Alvidia, learning about the Hyperions, having everyone else become a freaking Hyperion, which kind of killed the goddamn series. I mean, now that it's like everyone has a gun per se. I know now everyone's like Hyperion among the main characters, but in retrospect, it's like saying, well, now everyone has a gun. They no longer have their unique weapons and their shitty backgrounds. Everyone's got something. It's just not interesting. It just lost its specialness. Now I'm just relying on the comedy. But sorry, I digress. Final rating, 3.5 out of 5. But again, guys, that ends it for my walkthrough review of Ixion Saga Dimension Transfer episode 21. But definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe, check me out on Twitter, and follow me if you like. But again, guys, let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's gonna happen in the next episode that's coming out. But guys, I gotta hit the bricks, and I gotta go. And before I go, I gotta say it, and I always say it, you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.